we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to the Signature Talk to Experts Tuesday. We are so excited to have all of you here with us today. This is an exclusive webinar series designed to give all of you an hour with a few of our experts within the Qlik organization. You can use this time to ask them questions about the topic at hand. My name is Jamie Gregory, and I am the Community Operations Manager here at Qlik, and I will be your moderator for today. So we do have a few housekeeping items for today. Everyone is on mute, so please use the Q&A panel to ask your questions. We will not necessarily be using the panel to respond to your questions, as we are going to try to get to everyone's questions live today. If you don't get your question, or if it's something that may take some time to research, we will follow up with you accordingly. If you jumped on to get your question answered and then you have to leave, that's definitely fine. The recording will be posted out in the Qlik community on the Talk to Experts Tuesday program page, and I will show you all where that is a little bit later. Also, once you exit the session, a survey will pop up. Please fill out the survey and give us some feedback on improving these sessions or suggesting another topic that you would like to see in the future. You will also have the ability to give a shout out to any of our panelists for today. All feedback is appreciated, and the survey takes less than a minute. During today's session, we will not be able to answer a question regarding a specific case, and we do ask that you keep the questions on the topic at hand. And again, today's topic is feeling secure with QlikSense security rules. So we all know QlikSense security rules can be tricky, but also very powerful. And our experts are here to help answer any questions you may have about QlikSense security rules. That's a tall order, right, guys? All right, so with me today, I have Mike Dixon, Senior TSC on the Signature Support Team, Levi Turner, Senior Analytics Platform Architect, and David Sapsford, Senior Technical Architect. So Mike, can you go ahead and please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Dixon. I've been with Qlik for almost 6 years now. I've been primarily focusing on QlikSense since I've started. Live in Raleigh, North Carolina, United States.
Great, thank you, Mike. How about you, Levi?
I'm Levi Turner. I'm a Senior Analytics Platform Architect in pre-sales here at Qlik. Been at Qlik for about a little over 6 years, previously with support, but now I'm in pre-sales and do whatever is needed there.
Great, thank you, Levi. And David.
So hi, I'm Dave Saxford. I'm a Senior Technical Architect in the UK. Been with Qlik up to 7 years. So I was actually brought in when QlikSense first, just before QlikSense was released, to actually be the senior or the technical architect for Europe for QlikSense when it first came out.
Oh, great. Thank you for joining us today, David.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead. We'll jump right into the questions. And the first question is, do security rules give access or take access away?
So QlikSense by default is give access. So if someone has access to something like a stream or an app or an extension or whatever, that you can't take it away. So there's no deny. So if you've got access, you can't deny it. So you've got to be careful when creating your rules that you make sure that you get them right, because as soon as you give approve or allow, you can't take it away again in another rule. So by default, allow overrides deny. So just to be careful when you're writing rules, please take that into consideration.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, David. The next question. I have made some changes in some security rules, like changing names, disabling rules, etc. When I run an audit report or test it with the user, it looks like no changes have been made in the security rules engine. My question, is there maybe a time window till the rule is implemented in the Qlik engine, or is it necessary to reload the Qlik server?
There definitely shouldn't be any need to refresh the Qlik server when making security rules. Typically, when you make a security rule, it should be instant, and you should be able to see the results as long as you can see what the rule you're trying to make, you should be able to see the results that you on the hub or the QMC, depending on the rule based, rule that you created. You are able to use the audit functionality to preview it prior to applying the change, but yeah, it should be instantaneous.
Okay, perfect. This next question might tie into maybe how they could look into that a little bit, but it's, what is the best way to troubleshoot security rules if they are not working as expected?
So to be honest, the easiest way I've found of doing it is using the audit facility within Qlik Sense. So within the QMC, there's audit, and you can go into there and work through that. So you can then choose app streams and whatever. It will then show you who has access, or if you select by users, you'll then have colored boxes, which you can then click on, which will then show you which rules apply to the read, update, delete, and then you can go through those rules. So yeah, using the audit functionality within the QMC is the easiest and best way of doing it.
Okay, great. Levi, do you have something to add?
Yeah, so audit is helpful when you've got you don't know why there's access, or something's a little wonky there. I mean, to my mind, there's also a level of making things as dog simple as possible. So you can write a sophisticated rule that does 20 things, right? Or you can write 20 simple rules that do one thing each. Typically, I would start out with one rule for one purpose, and then expand outward to not make it as complex. So, I mean, something like, let me just share my screen.
Yep, let me stop sharing.
This here. So this is the example rule for named stream. So this is a very powerful rule that I like to refer to inside of Qlik Sense. So this is the default rule. This basically says if you have access to a stream, you can see the apps. If you can see the stream, you can see all the published sheets and bookmarks and stories. It's straightforward to describe, but this is a lot of stuff, right? This is a lot of syntax. So I mean, if I were starting this out, I would definitely not do one rule, right? There's two conditions here. Start out with something like this, then something like this, and then put them together, as opposed to starting out with the most complex version possible, right? Also pre-printing stuff together like this to be able to see what is happening. So this and this, and then start to break out all of the clauses, so you can start to walk through it stepwise and say, okay, so it's a app object, and it's a published app object, and it's a published app object which isn't an app script or a load model, right? This is all pretty straightforward when you read through it, but sometimes you need to pre-print it and mess around in a text editor to make it look attractive, as opposed to one blob of information.
Great. That's really great advice. Thank you, Levi. All right. And I think, Levi, you are kind of already working on this question, but I'm going to go ahead and read it so everyone is aware of it. Is there a way to expose all the Qlik Sense security rules in a Qlik app? We have done this using the REST API. However, the details pertaining to the actions is not easily readable, as it becomes a numeric value.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can follow up separately, just because I don't have the script handy. But what they're referring to is that when you query a security rule, and Jamie, I'm going to ask you to stop sharing again.
Okay.
Just to make it clear what's going on for others. This there. System rule full get. What they're referring to is, and let's put this over here. So this is a security rule. They're referring to this actions value, and this actions value is a summation of the action enums. So Read has a value, publish has a value, export has a value, and the sum of those actions creates an action value. So let's say, and I don't remember offhand what they are, but let's say read is one. Go ahead, Dave.
Levi, if you have a look in the chat between us, there's the numbers.
Oh, you've got them all there. Great.
Yeah. Here's one I made earlier.
Yep. So let's say create and read. If we created a rule that said you can create and read stuff, the action value would be a sum of that. That would be 3. If you did create an update, that would be 5, et cetera, right? So this can be a bit of a pain to process in Qlik script and in general. Typically, you want to use bit functions for this. I can't find it offhand, but I recall someone having solved how to sort of figure this out. Dave, do you have any helpful tips of how to break this down? Because this is really definitely a complex task, right? You can't just do a bunch of if-then statements.
No, I haven't got a one that's done it. No. So someone did write one in PowerShell. Was that using Qlik to do it? But that was back in 2018. So in theory, it might still work. But I do have one for Qlik to do it.
Yeah, if you could dig that up, that'd be great. I can see if I can find
I
one
will.
Qlik script. I mean, worst case, right? You dump it to a CSV, you do some post processing,
Exactly.
and then put it back into a Qlik app, and then deal with that. But yeah, it is a sophisticated way of doing things, but it's a pain and a chore to pull the actual semantic values out.
Hey, Levi, while you have your screen shared, I see someone asked real quickly how you were able to fetch that using the API.
So the path that I called was this QRS system rule full. Any kind of rule inside of Qlik is a system rule. So load balancing rule, a distribution rule if you're distributing to SaaS, security rule. They're all classes system rules, and so I just called that path and then picked the first one, which looks to be a name shared content managed content, which is one of the default rules that comes with the product. Down at the end, we probably can get some of the ones that I've created, like this one. This one very clearly is some sort of load balancing rule, which if you've been with the product for some time, they are helpfully named sync rules. But
And the application you're using is Poke. I know, is that easily accessible for anybody to download, or is that a Qlik exclusive?
I don't know how to answer that. I got it from someone in R&D. It's just a tool that is to me simple. I don't need all the advanced functions that something like Postman has. Postman will work perfectly fine if you wanted to use a freely available tool. Go over here, Postman, and I think I've got this set up. Let's do this. System.
I posted in the chat panel connecting with Postman to our help site. Talks about examples of connecting different models of connecting to the APIs for the QlikSense repository service.
Yeah, Postman definitely is more feature complete, and it's more it's more attractive to use. But sometimes I just want to quick and dirty, quickly get some information out, so I use that.
Perfect. Hopefully that helps everyone. I did put the values and then the link that you provided, David, as well in the chat for everyone. So you can have take a look at all of that. Let me go ahead and share. That was great. Thank you, Levi and Mike and David. That was some great collaboration on that question. Hopefully that helps everybody. Okay, so we'll go on to our next question. When evaluating a rule in Qlik Sense, does the order of the rules matter within a same rule, like checking for a access to stream and then maybe checking the user is not anonymous and then granting access to the app?
From my understanding, it shouldn't really matter the order of operations within the same rule.
So from
I mean-
from an evaluation standpoint, it doesn't matter, right? You basically, a rule is evaluated true or false. So if you have A or B or C or D, no matter if you're A, B, or C or D, you're going to be evaluated as true, right? I think where it may matter is at scale. You want to quickly qualify in or out. And this is stuff that is more speculative because I've not seen actual benchmarks for this, but from a logical standpoint, a true is a true, right? So if you can quickly evaluate it as a true, so the user is not anonymous, right? That's a very quick evaluation. It's very straightforward, as opposed to the user's group and they're in 300 groups matches as custom property. That's an expensive evaluation that takes a while to process. So you typically want to qualify in and out and sort of keep the most expensive operations to the end. That's what I've heard through the grapevine, but I've not actually tested out. So I don't know, Mike, if you've heard anything differently from R&D or
I haven't
David,
heard anything different.
see anything differently.
Okay, great. Next question, what is the best way to optimize security rules? Kind of a broad one.
Yeah. Optimize security rules. I've got nothing on there. I don't know how you could optimize them. Levi, you got any thoughts?
On
So
our Qlik the Qlik tools, the admin playbook, would the security rule analyzer, would that help?
That
Yeah.
certainly. Oh, go on, Levi.
yeah, let me just try to speak to that just because that's something that our team put together.
Right.
So what he's referring to, and Jamie, I'm going to steal control back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they're referring to there is a admin playbook that my team put together. It's adminplaybook.qlik-poc.com. Since we're in pre-sales, we didn't want to go through the review process of getting things on the actual Qlik domain, and we'll paste the link into the chat. But it sort of goes through an idea of optimization. I mean, the first thing I'd start out with is ultimately, what are you optimizing for, right? You know, there may be a technical quicker rule than a slower one, but ultimately the one that's the best is the one that's maintainable, right? One that people understand, they can make iterations to and changes to, they can onboard users in a straightforward way. So this is a good directional guide of trying to figure out what is the most efficient, the quickest way of optimizing for things. But I would say don't boil the ocean, right? Don't make the most complex rule that no one else can debug. You know, no one like Dave from his team, if they come in for an engagement, no one else on your team supporting the customer that you work with. You want to make sure the rule is clear and can be maintained. So this is a good start, but I'd also caution against trying to get super sophisticated. Now it is certain things are just not great to do, like users ID equals, Mike, or users ID equals David, or users ID equals Levi. That's not a great rule. That should be cleaned up and tightened up a little bit because that's not really maintainable. But other than removing, one-off rules like that, I've not seen a huge amount of demand for super optimization. I'd focus more on maintainability because that's the harder problem. Rules are complicated enough. You need to make sure the person who takes over your role, or if you're on vacation, can do what they need to do.
That makes sense. Thank you, Levi. Okay, so the person that asked the question before about the REST API and then evaluating the order of Qlik Sense rules said, thank you, Levi, Mike, and David. That was really helpful. And they've also asked, are these meetings recorded and available for a later point of time? If yes, please share the link. Let me just make sure. Yes, we are recording. I just wanted to double check that now that you said it. Sometimes I miss the little prompts and I'm like, wait, is this recording? But yes, we are recording everything. I'm just gonna show everyone where it gets posted really quickly. So out here on community, that's community.qlik.com. There's a Talk to Experts Tuesday program page. So here under support, and then programs, and then Talk to Experts Tuesday. This is where you can see available sessions. So these are just the general sessions. Again, these are exclusive to signature support, but then we have other sessions that anyone can join. And under here, under past events, is where we put all the recordings. We are a little bit behind on getting some of the recordings up, but we will be getting those up here this week. So look forward to that. And then when this one is available, I'll try to get it up as soon as possible as well. So you will have access to the recording. And like I said, if anyone needs a follow-up or anything like that, we will make sure to follow up with you accordingly. Okay, and then Mike and Levi both put links to the admin playbook in the chat, so you do have access to that as well. And we'll go on to the next question. So some of the Qlik security rules cannot be validated using the audit rules, like the QMC sections. Is there a roadmap to include them in a future release? So we don't have anyone on product management team on the call today, but I don't know if you have anything that can help them troubleshoot these types of security rules.
So from my side, yeah, I don't know the roadmap. Mike, you got anything?
As far as the QMC sections being added to the audit, I haven't heard of that being added. I do know that within the audit, you are able to filter on the environment of QMC only for specific resources such as apps, extensions, streams, etc. So, but as far as the QMC sections itself, no, I don't think, I haven't heard anything of that being added to the audit yet.
Okay, great. We do have the idea section if you want to put that out there. Here on the community, if you go to ideation and then suggest an idea, you can search the ideas to see if it's already out there. If it's already out there, you can give it some likes, give it some comments. That will boost it up for our product managers to know that you want this feature. If it's not already out there, go ahead and put it in, because the product managers will respond to you to let you know if that's in the planning or in the works or anything like that, or they might take it under consideration. Something else that I would suggest, if this is something that you're really looking for, make sure you send it out to all your colleagues and have them give it a like. You do have to be a community member, so you do have to be a customer partner or luminary to enter in ideas. And you do, of course, have to have a Qlik community username, and the same goes for anyone that you pass it along to. But if you put any ideas in here, like I said, product managers do check this on a bi-weekly basis, I believe. And they do respond back via the ideas themselves. So it's a good tool to get some of the attention of our product managers. Excellent question. And then let's go ahead. We have about, we're almost halfway through, so it goes pretty quickly. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A panel for our experts, and we'll get them answered for you. Right, so the next question is there any specific security rule to grant restrict access for users to the Dev Hub? I feel like this is a pretty common question. We get this a lot.
Yeah. So there isn't actually any way of within the product to do it other than hacking files, which would then make your product unsupported. So So the answer is no. The only way you could hide it, if you could hide the URL if you had a load balance or something within front of Qlik Sense that you could stop users hitting that URL. But within the product at this moment, no. There is a request for it on the site that Jamie did ask about or said about. So there is a request to do it, but at this moment, no, there is nothing in Qlik Sense to hide it.
But you are able to restrict, not necessarily restrict, but like set up security rules so that if they do access the Dev Hub, they won't be able to do anything within the Dev Hub.
Okay, yeah. So, so yeah, they can get into it, but can't do anything. But you cannot restrict Dev Hub itself.
Right.
That's still a link that's there that's still doable. So yeah.
I pasted a link to our help site that sort of helps with
Cool.
some security rules to allow, or if you wanted to allow users to create and whatnot.
Perfect. Great, thank you. Okay. The next question, if an issue is suspected to be related to security rules, how can we easily test this theory?
One of the things that we do in support a lot when trying to track down if something is caused by a security rule is, breaking it down. First, starting within the audit, then disabling a couple security rules if we're able to, or creating a super user security rule to help find out if it is in fact a security rule related issue. Here's a link, another link to one of our knowledge articles that helps with guidance on how to conclude if the issue is security related. There's a good video that's been created that you're able to view, and it talks about going through the steps of creating that super admin user to assign to a specific user to see if the issue is resolved around security rules.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Mike. That was actually the last question that we had from all of y'all. So if you have any more questions, again, use the Q&A panel. Y'all kind of run this show. So if you have more questions, we'll stay on the line. If not, we'll probably let everyone get some, 30 minutes back into their day. But just use the Q&A panel to get your questions in. I will take this time to let you know about the next session. So it's August 17th. It's a tour of the Qlik Sense monitoring apps. So I imagine Mike might be on that one. We'll see. But yeah, so it'll be about the Qlik Sense monitoring apps. Again, this is the signature session. So this is the exclusive session for signature customers only. So you can scan the QR code here and get to the registration page and, let us, and hopefully you can join us and, let us know what kind of questions you have. Again, for today's session, once we exit the session, you will receive a survey. Please go ahead and fill out that survey. It takes less than a minute, just to let us know how we're doing, how you like these sessions, if you have any ideas for topics or anything like that. And then, of course, giving shout outs to our wonderful panelists here with us today. They did an amazing job. So far, no questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end this session. But if you do have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we will be happy to answer them. All right, y'all. We will see you next month for a tour of the Qlik Sense monitoring apps. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. And of course, thank you to Mike, David, and Levi for being our experts today. Bye, all.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thanks all. Take care.